The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. U.S. President Joe Biden assures that America's commitment to the Philippines in terms of defense remains ironclad. Biden's reassurance comes after the recent incident between Chinese Coast Guard and Philippine vessels in Ayungin Shoal. Biden accused China of acting, quote, dangerously and unlawfully in the disputed territory.
Just this past week, the PRC vessels acted dangerously and unlawfully as our Philippine friends conducted a routine resupply mission within their own exclusive economic zone in the South China Sea. The United States defense agreement with the Philippines is ironclad. Any attack on the Filipino aircraft vessels or armed forces will invoke our mutual defense treaty with the Philippines.
ACT Teachers Representative Franz Castro responds to recent remarks by former President Rodrigo Duterte's son. The lawmaker clarified to Congressman Paulo Duterte that his father's attacks were not mere criticisms but threats. Castro also insisted that the older Duterte should be held accountable for his remarks. Paulo earlier issued a statement dismissing Castro's complaint as a tool to silence critics. He also described Castro as onion-skinned. Castro sued Rodrigo Duterte for grave threat. In an interview, the ex-chief executive said his daughter Sara's confidential funds will be used to kill communists, singling out Castro. One expert believes Rodrigo Duterte's defense of his daughter, the vice president, is scripted. In an interview with Sa Totoo Lang, political analyst Antonio Contreras says Mr. Duterte is just diverting attention away from the VP by justifying her confidential funds. Contreras is also taking note of the timing of Duterte's remarks and their silence on the recent issue in the West Philippine Sea.
Parte lahat yan ng drama nila talagang halatang-halata mong planado, may script. Ang hindi maganda ngayon kasi para sa mga Duterte kasi sabayan pa nitong mga pagmaniobra ng China, hindi ba? At alam naman natin na ang pangalang Duterte parang naging kaakibat na yun o kakabit na ng China. Parang napiperceive sila na pro-China, lalo na si Pangulong Duterte. Sa Sara Duterte, pinuri ang China, nagmandarin pa, di ba? So, ang tingin sa kanila maka-China. Tapos ngayon, tingnan mo ginawa ng China sa West Philippine Sea. Hinahanapan ngayon tuloy sila. Ano masasabi mo dito? Ang ingay-ingay ninyo.
The luggage of a businesswoman that got lost in NAIA has been returned. The wife of a taxi driver brought the luggage to Senator Raffy Tulfo show wanted sa radyo. It had jewelry, watches, and luxury bags worth 50 million pesos. The wife, Salvacion Mamon, said her husband took the luggage when it was left at the NAIA Terminal 3. But he apparently felt guilty, which prompted him to return the bag. Maricor Flores, owner of the luggage, had previously offered 1 million pesos in reward for anyone who can give information on the whereabouts of her belongings. More stories coming your way after a quick break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Denise Tan. Air, land, and sea are ready for the Undas holiday. NAIA is ready for the influx of passengers expected to come in tomorrow for Undas. The Manila International Airport Authority noted a 60% increase in the number of passengers compared to last year. Airlines also have more flights this year. Up to 130,000 passengers daily are expected to travel starting October 27. Spare aircrafts are also in place to ensure that there will be flights in case of cancellations. Several passengers at the Batangas port did not wait for the weekend to go to their provinces to avoid the huge crowd. The Philippine Ports Authority said 1.4 million people are expected to use ports across the country this long weekend. This is 6% higher than the 1.3 million people tallied last year. In Batangas Port alone, some 20,000 passengers are expected to come in. They are also trying to address the shortage of ships. Over at the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange, officials are anticipating some 1.6 million passengers starting tomorrow for the long weekend. PTEX is working to ensure that public transportation is sufficient and that travelers will get to their destination safely. The Trade and Industry Department is questioning some bottled water retailers due to reports of overpricing. Upon inspection, the DTI discovered that some vendors sell bottled water up to 10 pesos over the suggested retail price. Meanwhile, prices of flowers have started going up, with some increasing by up to 200 pesos from last week, depending on the kind. The MMDA will implement measures aimed at reducing road congestion in Metro Manila during the holiday season. Among these, adjusting mall hours and extending operations of train system. Justine Punsalang with the details.
Starting November 13, the MMDA will be implementing traffic modifications in preparation for the Yuletide season. In a meeting with mall operators today, MMDA announced that mall operating hours will be adjusted to 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Exempted in the schedule are malls that offer government services from the DFA, LTO, and NBI. But the MMDA clarified, malls that house remote offices of state departments can open earlier. That means department stores and other vendors must start operations at 11 a.m. still. Mall supply deliveries have also been moved to 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. so as not to add to the expected heavier traffic. SM malls, however, are requesting for an exemption for branches not located in major thoroughfares in EDSA.
We'd like to serve more customers, more people, of course, since it's a holiday season. So, if possible lang din naman. So, we will be waiting for the MMDA's feedback on that.
According to MMDA, they will be waiting for the letter request from SM malls as well as their proposed traffic management plan. The agency will still need to study if the proposal is feasible.
Wala hong naka-indicate sa memorandum circular ng aming chairman whether it is within the major thoroughfares or the inner roads or the city roads ng mga LGU. So as far as I know, lahat po covered ito, the entire Metro Manila. I-inspect ng ating Traffic Engineering Center sa office po ni Director Resio if that would be feasible na pagbigyan sila. So pag-aaralan muna ho yun bago kami magbigay ng exemption.
The MMDA is also expecting more commuters, especially mall workers, on the road. This is why they will coordinate with the management of train systems to extend operating hours and cater to passengers working late. MMDA is assuring commuters that public transportation in the NCR will be sufficient during the holidays.
We will coordinate with Yusek Cesar Chavez of the DOTR for rails kung they could also adjust the operating hours of the LRT and the MRT. Ang bus carousel po ngayon natin sa EDSA is 24/7. Lalong-lalo na po sa EDSA, kumbaga sufficient naman po ang ating mass transport.
Also to be implemented starting November 13 is the temporary suspension of road projects along major thoroughfares and alternative routes. However, some road projects are exempted. These are the flagship projects of the government, including the building of common stations, Skyway extension, and MRT subway. Also exempted are DPWH bridge repairs and construction, flood interceptor catchment projects, utility repairs and emergency works by Meralco, Maynilad, and Manila Water, and other construction that will not affect the traffic flow. Contractors can also apply for an exemption at the MMDA, which still needs to be assessed first. The agency explained that some road projects cannot be suspended because the areas remain unpassable due to the sheer size of projects.
Hindi natin pwedeng ipahinto kasi kahit ipahinto natin, hindi madadaanan yung mga areas na na-occupy na nila. Hindi naman pwede nating tabunan kasi malalalim at malalaki ang hukay. Yung mga simple lang ay maging passable. So yun lang yung mga papahintuin natin. Or hindi na kami magbibigay ng bagong permits doon sa mga excavations na alam namin na makaka-affect sa traffic.
Road projects that can be resolved overnight from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. will be allowed. However, those that will be caught undergoing construction past the mandated window will be fined 50,000 pesos. To help with traffic management, the duty of MMDA traffic enforcers will be extended until 12 midnight, also starting November 13. These traffic modifications will end on January 8, 2024. For News 5, Justine Punsala. We are One News.
One News Now will be back at 6 p.m. with the day's latest stories. See you then. I'm Denise Tan. We are One News.